In this video, the World Movie League begins with two Group A Round 1 matches. Match 1 sees Blade versus the Men in Black, and Match 2 sees Captain America, the First Avenger, taking on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Hey, it's me, Commissioner AP, Commissioner of the World Movie League, and today is a day. The first set of matches begin in the World Movie League, and as I said in the intro, we've got some great movies in today's matchups. We see some Group A matches, Round 1 matches. We're seeing Blade taking on the Men in Black. We're seeing Captain America, the First Avenger, taking on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And maybe you didn't watch the first video, the official draw video, the World Movie League. What is it? We are doing a league to find out the best movie, and today the World Movie League, the first official league, is all about comic book based movies, movies that are based on comic books or graphic novels. So all these movies have had some sort of, they were based on a comic book of some sort. But yeah, I'm really excited to be the judge of the first couple of rounds of the World Movie League as Commissioner AP. Commissioner of the Movie League, and I'm really excited to look at these movies today. But let's just get down to business and talk about how is this all going to be scored. In these first 3 episodes, until maybe we get that community tab, I am going to be judging these competitions, and I'm going to judge it by a free scorecard system, and it will change throughout the rounds. The choices and the outcomes will change, I'm sure, of what the scorecard is. But let me just talk about what the scorecard is at this moment in time for these Round 1 matches anyway. So each movie that goes against each other, we're going to have like Men in Black, for instance, versus Blade. They will be scored on a free score system, and the score system works like this. First of all, it is which movie has the best characters, and it's a 3-point system, so whoever wins that gets 1 point out of them movies. The next score is best movie high scoring moments. What do I mean by this? I mean which movie has the most moments that are just ultimately high scoring bits of film. You know, they just stand out as a high scoring film moment. They're a spectacular moment of that movie. Which one has the most of those moments and the most notable? So that'll be the second point of the scorecard. And the third point is desert island choice. Which movie out of the 2 picks would I want to take with me on a desert island? A movie that I could watch over and over again. That is the third mark on the scorecard for the World Movie League. So that is the score system. You know the movies involved in today's episode. I think it's time to take a deep dive into the World Movie League. So let the games begin. Let's take a look at Match 1. Released in 1998, Blade tells the story of a daywalker, half-human vampire hunter, Blade, who tasks himself with hunting down vampires. The action movie stars Wesley Snipes in the main role and Chris Christopherson as his mentor and fellow hunter, Whistler. The movie's villain, Deacon Frost, is played by Stephen Dorff. And now let's take a look at Blade's opponent. Released in 1997, The Men in Black is a sci-fi comedy about a secret organization on Earth that deals with alien life forms. The movie stars Will Smith as newly recruited Agent J and Tommy Lee Jones as his agency partner and mentor, Agent K, plus Vincent D'Onofrio as the main alien bug villain. So in Match 1, we're seeing Blade take on the Men in Black, and what can I say? Both of these movies I really enjoyed. I've rewatched all these movies in advance for this video to refresh my memory and to give them both a good scoring chance. I didn't want to just go on my sort of memory of these movies. So I rewatched both of these movies, both 90s movies, both very different movies. You know, you've got Blade, which is more, it's an action movie, it's about vampires, it's a bit more heavy, whereas Men in Black is very much like it's a sci-fi movie, it's very much a comedy movie, definitely a comedy action, but more comedy. It's what I would say the whole family could watch. It's a very entertaining movie. So they're both very different films, first of all. But both movies I enjoy. One, I would say Men in Black is one I would watch. I've watched the most out of this because it's always one I've watched. I think Men in Black for me, when people mention Ghostbusters, I always think Men in Black is my Ghostbusters. As much as I like Ghostbusters, I would say Men in Black is my era of Ghostbusters, that style of movie, and it is one I will relate to. But that is not saying that I've had a bye and that Men in Black, is going to get a bye to the final. That is not going to be the case. That is not going to be the case. I am going to judge it properly. And if you feel there's any wrongdoing here, please do let me know in the comments, and we can obviously take this to further punishments, maybe a disciplinary committee if there's been some sort of fiddling over these movies. But I'm going to judge it positively and accurately. I'm going to be very good as a judge, I hope anyway. Let's go anyway. So first of all, the first point on the scorecard we're going to be looking at for this round one match, Group A match, it is going to be which movie has the best characters. Now let's look at the characters in these movies. First of all, we got Blade. We got Blade, the main guy. He's the Daywalker. He's half man, half vampire. He's a vampire hunter, so he's going around killing vampires. He's a complete badass, is Blade. We've got his mentor, Whistler, as well. Again, another notable character for me in this movie. So them two are very much like the notable characters for me personally in Blade. On the other side of things, with Men in Black, we have Tommy Lee Jones as K, Agent K of the Men in Black, and then we have up-and-comer Will Smith as Agent J, and J is recruited to the Men in Black in this movie. I think the standout of first of all Men in Black has got to be Agent J. Will Smith, he's just oozes charisma. He is fantastically entertaining. And he's a great action star, a great comedy star. Yeah, I mean, this movie really, for me, makes him the star we know him as now. Will Smith, the superstar we know him as. I think he's great, Will Smith. Very funny in this movie, and opposite Tommy Lee Jones's K, who's very a straight figure in this. He's very stoic-like throughout moments in this movie, and then you've got Agent J of Will Smith's character, who is very much, not so much comedy relief, but adds a lot more humour in scenes and more charisma, I would say, than Tommy Lee Jones' character. But they mix really well, and the sort of like the spices of both of them together really mixes well, and it makes them an excellent combination as a duo on screen. Let's say Blade, I feel like, as much as Whistler is a main character, Blade it's not like a duo between them. It feels like Blade's the main guy throughout this movie. He's the main action star. Wesley Snipes, who plays Blade, is fantastic. He has some great scenes throughout this movie. And just, as I said, he's just a complete action star, complete badass, taking on vampires. He's awesome. Best character, though. Best character. That is a tough one. And I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I'm thinking about this on the fly, and I'm not really setting my ideas and my results in stone before I think about it. I think for me, I've got to go for best character has got to be Agent J of Will Smith. I think Will Smith, as I said, he's got everything in it. He's got humor, he's got the action star attributes. He's a great actor, great performances. He makes it believable, this sort of world of the Men in Black, this secret organization that deals with aliens. I just like everything about Will Smith's character in this. He just adds everything on every single level. I think for me, Blade at sometimes is just a very much one-sided. It's just like action, all action, and we don't see enough of the other sides of Blade. For me anyway, I don't feel like I see enough of what Blade truly is, really. And I don't know, I enjoy just Will Smith's performances in this opposite Tommy Lee Jones. So for me, Men in Black wins on the scorecard, the first part of the scorecard, best characters for sure. So Men in Black gets a thumbs up here. Let's go to the next part of the scorecard, and we're looking at now the best movie high scoring moments. And look at it, there's tons of different moments throughout both of these movies. I think the opening scene in Blade, We see like this blood rave where Blade is going into this place where they've got this human character in there, and then all these vampires are having this rave and this dance club that's in like a back of a butcher's shop or something like that. Is it a butcher's shop? I don't know. They have like meat, like cows. It looks like this. Do you know like where Rocky's training? It looks like that place. And he's going into this secret place for this secret rave with this woman who turns out to be a vampire. And then from like where water will come out if there's like a fire, blood comes out of it. And you just see all them. They're all dressed in white. And they're having all this blood pouring upon them, all these vampires, and they're absolutely loving it. It's like them kids going to to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. They're seeing all the chocolate, and they're doing an Augustus Gloop and just eating the chocolate. They're eating the blood. They love it. And then, who is the major party pooper? I tell you who it is. It is Blade. Blade comes, he spoils the party. He's got his big sword. That's not a euphemism. He actually has a big sword, a real sword, and he's just killing all the vampires. And it is just an all-out just brawl in there between Blade and all these vampires. It's a great scene. I really enjoy it. So that for me is one of the really big high-scoring moments in that. And there's a lot of like other notable action scenes within this. I like the scene when the child is taking on Blade. That's quite funny. I think it's a really cool scene as well. And let's look on the other side of the coin, though. Men in Black. And for me, Men in Black is one where I look at this film and I look at the moments. Big moment for me is the recruitment scene. There's a few scenes within that where he has the table, Will Smith's character. He's being recruited to the Men in Black and he pulls the table in the middle and he makes this big sound and it's just so cringe-worthy at the time, and it just makes me laugh every single time, though. Even though I know it's coming. But there's even other scenes in the recruitment scene where they're doing the shooting, and he shoots the little girl, the cardboard cutout of the little girl, rather than the aliens, and he just gives like a really good answer to Zed, who is like the main boss at Men in Black, as to why he shot the little girl, the cardboard cutout, rather than the aliens. And it's just really funny. And I think the bit with Jeeves as well in the gun shop at the first, where he's acting like cool, and then Tommy Lee Jones just shoots Jeeves in the head, and like Will Smith's character Jay's like, whoa, wait, what have you done? And then you see him regrow a head back because he's an alien. This is a point where Will Smith's character is kind of unaware of aliens at this point, really. And that's another great moment. But I think the high-scoring moments, the amount of different high-scoring moments for me, it's got to go to Men in Black again. Men in Black takes it. It is definitely the winner of that choice, and that does mean that out of the two, it's won 2 out of the 3. Men in Black does go through. I will just say my Desert Island choices. What would have been my Desert Island choices? We know Men in Black is going through to round 2 now, but Men in Black would certainly be my Desert Island choice as well. It gets 3 out of 3 Men in Black. Look, I'm judging this fairly, but Men in Black is an all-out winner here between Blade and Men in Black for me. It's a movie I would want to take on a desert island for this reason. It's all-out entertainment. It's got comedy. It's got action. It delivers on all fronts. It's got great characters in this movie. Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are great actors in great roles in this movie. It's a sci-fi movie. I love sci-fi as well. Sci-fi mixed with comedy is a perfect combination for me. So that is the winner of the Round 1 Group A first matchup today in today's World Movie League episode. But now, let's go to the next match. Released in 2011, Captain America the First Avenger tells the superhero origin story of Steve Rogers becoming Captain America. The movie stars Chris Evans in the main role as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Hugo Weaving as the evil Red Skull. The cast also features Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Hayley Atwell as Peggy Carter, and Tommy Lee Jones as Chester Phillips. And now let's take a look at Captain America's opponent. Released in 2010, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a romance comedy about musician Scott Pilgrim, who has to battle his new girlfriend's 7 evil exes. The movie stars Michael Cera as Scott Pilgrim and Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Scott's girlfriend Ramona Flowers. The cast also features notable names like Brandon Routh, Anna Kendrick, and Captain America himself, Chris Evans. These again, two movies I've rewatched, and two movies that I've had a mixed feelings towards these, and let me talk about it. First of all, I'll start with Captain America, the First Avenger, the origin movie of Steve Rogers, the Great Avenger, and what can I say? It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's one I've always looked back upon and not seen a ton of positives in, and on the rewatch I realised why I didn't see a lot of those positives, but I also seen some new angles of this movie which I enjoyed as well. So I suppose the negatives for me is the first 20 or 30 minutes or so of the movie with Steve Rogers as this skinny character before he's had the super serum, and I find it really jarring, really weird to look at when you're seeing this really bad CGI of the actor Chris Evans made to look super skinny before he has his sort of super serum transformation and he is now big normal sized guy, and it is really weird to look at, and I found that just a bit sort of negative in my brain. I do think after that point it does become a good movie, and it's less, I'm not looking at it and thinking, oh, this looks weird. But that is a part of the movie at first I would say is kind of off-putting for me personally. I don't know how you feel out there, let me know. But then we go to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and this is it's based on a graphic novel comic book series, and it's a weird movie because it's got a load of video game inspiration in this movie. It's inspired by video games, and there's loads of visuals that are taken from video games, very much inspired by video games. So it's a really weird concept of a movie. And I remember I was recommended this for years, and I always put it off. And then I watched it the first time, and I was like, "Whoa, this is weird." It's like something else of a movie. It's just something new. I've never seen a movie like this before. And watching it again, I was watching it, I was thinking how much effort went into a lot of the shots and the design of this movie. It seems like it looked like a hard quest to record this movie, to film it, because it's so incredibly visual. It's a great visual feast of a movie. Really entertaining. But let's go to the score. We've had a little bit of an overview there of the movies, overview feelings. Let's go to the scorecard and see what the scorecard is for Captain America First Avenger versus Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So first of all, we go to best characters. Now, best characters. This is interesting because, again, both movies has very, very interesting characters. I think let's start off with Captain America. First of all, we got a whole host of great characters here. We've got Red Skull, Hugo Weaving. We have Chris Evans, obviously, is Steve Rogers, Captain America. We see Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, before he becomes the Winter Soldier in this. We see Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell in this movie as well. Tommy Lee Jones is in this movie as well. There's a lot of great character work, great characters. I think as standout characters are, once the transformation hits, is Captain America. His bravery, even before the transformation, he has immense bravery. Another one is the villain, Hydra Commander Red Skull, Hugo Weaving. He is a cool villain, and they had that villain return for the Avengers two-parter movies, but it wasn't Hugo Weaving playing the role. But that villain of Red Skull is a really... It feels like he's a villain that should have been used a lot more than he was, and maybe at some point we'll see more use of that villain. But I really enjoyed the villain of Red Skull, the leader of Hydra, and it was cool to see him, the foundations of how Hydra was created and its place in history. Really, it's really interesting. Now let's go to the other side of the coin. So we have Scott Pilgrim, played by Michael Cera, and then we have the other character of Ramona Flowers as well. And Ramona Flowers is the love interest, and she becomes the girlfriend of Scott Pilgrim in this movie, and then we see him taking on all the evil exes. But Scott Pilgrim, for me, he's like a slacker musician of this band who are not the best band in the world, and we see a ton of different other characters throughout this movie. But Scott Pilgrim's just a standout character for, he's just living in this world and you don't know what's quite going on because there's a lot of like mesmerizing moments in this video game movie when he's fighting all the evil ex-girlfriends of, all the evil exes, of ex-girlfriends. I was going to say ex-boyfriends, but I even messed that up. Exes of Ramona Flowers. It's really an interesting mix when you put Scott Pilgrim against like all these different characters and like these muscular characters, these hard-hitting characters. And it's really weird to see how he adapts and how he progresses through this movie, his character personally, because he goes from being like this quiet guy, really, very sort of like insular guy, to then having to become this brave guy and this hero of the movie, which is really cool to see. Another standout character for me in this is Knives Chow, the girlfriend of Scott who he dumps to be with Ramona Flowers. And Knives Chow, the way she develops throughout this movie and her becoming like really happy at first, but then she realizes that Scott cheated on her, and then you see her becoming like this like really badass in this movie as well. It's really cool to see. But again, we look at Captain America and we have Bucky Barnes as well. His origin story in this and to know where he goes in the MCU is fantastic to see. So which is the winner out of this? Which has the best characters? It's got to be, for me, best characters, I've got to go to Captain America, the First Avenger. Just for the fact, I look at the development of these characters and where they go. But even looking at it in the first movie, the way they develop in this first movie and the romance between Peggy Carter and Chris and Steve Rogers, that romance. We see, Bucky Barnes, the beginnings of him, and then losing his life that we believe in this movie. I just think there's a whole host of great characters in this. Hugo Weaving as Red Skull that top the characters in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So for me, best characters, it's got to go to Captain America, the First Avenger. Now let's move to the second part of the scorecard now. Best movie high-scoring moments. Which movie has the best high-scoring moments in this? Visually, as I said, Scott Pilgrim has some absolutely superb moments. The moments of the battles of the evil exes, and it's like a different video game each time, and you see the visual effects on screen making it look like a video game. We see all these little cues of video games. Then you add in the music is great throughout this movie, within the battles and within the whole movie in general. There's some great scenes. I think, I suppose the first fight scene is pretty good, but I mean, let's just talk about this. Chris Evans is in both of these movies. He's in Captain America as Steve Rogers. He's also in Scott Pilgrim as one of the evil exes, and he has one of the battles against Scott Pilgrim, and then we see him like he's like this actor in real life in this movie, and he's like great at skateboarding. He's got all these doubles who are he's like acting doubles, and they all take on Scott. It's another great fight scene, and I love his character in this is so different from Steve Rogers. It's just poles apart, and I just really find it quite funny to watch. That is another great fight scene. But let's now go over to the other side of things with Captain America, the First Avenger. Good moments in this, high-scoring moments. I've got to say, it's got to be, first of all, the transformation. The transformation of Steve turning into Captain America. He gets a super serum, and when he comes out of that and he's like this big muscular guy now. He's no longer a skinny guy, and he's a super soldier. And that is a feel-good moment to see him become the hero that he truly is inside. I love that. I think it's a great scene. But for me, I would say that Scott Pilgrim has a lot more great moments. I think every fight scene in Scott Pilgrim is pretty awesome. It's all choreographed great. It looks great visually. And that means for me, best movie high-scoring moments goes to Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So we are now one apiece. Best characters goes to Captain America. Best high-scoring moments goes to Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So we are now at Desert Island choices. Desert Island choices for this first round Group A match 2 of Group A. And What can I say? What would be my desert island choice? This is hard. This is a tough one. I think both movies would be great because we see, I mean, you want a superhero movie on a desert island. I think a desert island requires a superhero movie. I love superhero movies. I love comic book movies in general. But then you look at Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim is super funny, and it's not that I need an entertaining movie every time. Sometimes I can have a serious movie. It doesn't really matter. I think it's just a movie I can watch over and over again. So what would it be? I think the moments in Captain America that really let it down at that first 20 minutes or so where Steve Rogers is super skinny, the CGI is really off-putting. And although it gets better, that really makes it a sign-off for me. I don't want to watch that on a desert island. Whereas Scott Pilgrim, from start to the end, it's perfect. It's a perfect, entertaining, comic book-based movie. And that is why Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is my desert island choice for this matchup. So that means Scott Pilgrim goes through to the next round along with Men in Black. This is awesome. This is awesome. Two great choices, and they will eventually go against each other in a round 2 matchup. And that is going to be an exciting contest. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content as well. And let me know your thoughts on today's first episode of the World Movie League. What did you think of the movies? What did you think of my judging in this? Do you think the right movies went through to the next round, or do you feel like there was some areas of this that needed to be changed? Let me know all your thoughts and all your picks on today's World Movie League episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.